Anchor on Capitol Hill. It's easy to miss a small band of legislators from both parties who gather every week at a special kind of breakfast club to discuss not what divides them, but what unites them. The group was started by freshman Congressman Jim Renacci, a Republican from Ohio, and John Carney, a Democrat from the first state of Delaware. They wrote an op-ed in today's Washington Post. They're profiled in the New York Times, and they join me now. Congressman, thanks for taking the time. Let's talk first about where this idea sprung from. You're both freshman members of Congress. How did you get together? How did you form it? And do you ever refer to it as the Breakfast Club?
I'll let John maybe start here.
Well, my calendar, it's always designated as the Bipartisan Breakfast Group. But for me, as a Delawarean, we have a tradition, Democrats and Republicans burying the hatchet, literally, in a celebration called Return Day in Georgetown after elections. And in that spirit, I came here to Washington hoping to work with Democrats and Republicans to work on common sense solutions to the problems that we face. I reached out to Jim early on. He and I serve on the Financial Services Committee together. And we started this group, and we've just started to make some progress.
Now, Congressman Renacci, this comes at a time when we have congressional approval at historic lows. You have a grim outlook, that's probably putting it nicely, for the super committee. What can a group of largely freshman members of Congress accomplish? What do you guys hope to accomplish? And do you have any tangible signs of success yet?
Well, it's interesting because I think what we found out of the 12 to 14 members of this group is that we do have a lot of things in common. And one of them is that we want to make sure that we come down here and understand that we're all Americans. These problems that America faces are not Republican problems, they're not Democrat problems, but they're American problems. And I know when we get in the room and we talk in these breakfast meetings, it's amazing because you hear that we all want to try and get to the same place. We may disagree on how to get there, but we want to get to the same place. So I think we have to start somewhere, as in anything. As in any goal, and the group has started to emerge with not just freshmen. We have some other members who are a little bit more senior, and what's really interesting is when I walk on the House floor, there are others who now have an interest in being part of it. So I think overall we have many members down here who believe these aren't Republican problems, these aren't Democrat problems, these are American issues we need to solve, and we're going to continue to work together, and you see that in the room when we have our meetings.
And you mentioned that you're starting to put some tangible things together, and I know there are three sort of primary proposals that you guys have made: incentives to bring business back to the United States, a bill to promote hiring the long-time unemployed, and creation of pre-tax home savings accounts for first-time homebuyers. So, tell me the status of any one or all of those three. Do we have any sense that those will be acted upon in any sort of bipartisan manner sometime before the November 2012 election? Congressman Carney.
Well, it's hard to say, but we have been making progress. We have these pieces of legislation that have been introduced. We're getting sponsors from both sides of the aisle, and coincidentally, just in a meeting that I was part of yesterday, the Secretary of Labor was talking about a work share program that the department is working on that mirrors very much our Employee Act, where we encourage businesses to hire people who are on unemployment, put them to work, give them on-the-job training, and get them back to work, frankly. And this mirrors something the administration is doing. So it's an opportunity in our minds to reach across the aisle, reach to the administration to get support for this program as well.
Now, let me quickly, from both of you, and Congressman Renacci, why don't you go first? Let's talk about the super committee. Things do not look, if you read the quotes and you watch the body language, things do not look positive. Number one, do you expect a deal to be reached? And number two, what does it say if one isn't? What does it say about Congress? Congressman Renacci.
Well, I continue to hear that they're working very hard. One thing about things down here in Washington, it always goes to the final hour, which is something I'm not used to in the business world. But I do believe they're working toward trying to come up with some things. I think there has to be some compromise. I know that the Republican side has agreed to some revenue increases. So I know there's compromise starting to occur. And I still believe that there will be something that will come out of it. At least that's what we keep hearing. And again, we're down to the last few days. As time passes on, I think we'll get closer and closer to something, and I'm hopeful that will occur.
And Congressman Carney, you share that optimism?
Absolutely, I'm hopeful. I was part of a group of 150 members of the House and the Senate, Democrats and Republicans, that signed a letter, and we stood in the Capitol just the other day encouraging the supercommittee to complete its work with a proposed plan and to go big. We believe that a bigger plan is actually easier to do, ironically, than the charge of $1.2 trillion. But it is the time. We have to do something now to get our fiscal house in order for the future of our country. So I remain hopeful. If they do fail, then I think we as individual members and in our respective caucuses ought to put some of these plans on the floor to see if we can get bipartisan support that way as well.
Bipartisanship, the name of the game at the Breakfast Club. Jim Renacci, John Carney, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll get a preview of the